So, my guess is, because I worked for several years with a group of doctors and scientists trying to understand what was happening with the injections. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely believe that they were trying to install operating systems in people's bodies.
Operating systems.
Yeah. So if you listen, there's a great clip from right at the beginning of the pandemic when the chief scientist officer at Moderna says we're installing an operating system in people's bodies. And he, he's describing something that can be used plug and play for future vaccines. But if you look at all the material on the Internet of Bodies, you're talking about putting materials in people's bodies that make them basically easier to interact with telecommunications and digital technology.
You're talking about like the 5G stuff and like how 5G can connect to this stuff.
So
these
we
nanobots. There's a whole. I've done a podcast on this before. It's so bizarre and out there and like hard to grasp, but like
it's not hard to grasp at all because
it just seems like sci-fi.
No, it's not sci-fi at all. It's not, just like they're tagging livestock. I mean, have you ever studied livestock management?
No, never.
A lot of this makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
And they are tagging all the livestock, but this is simply a way of, if you get a lot of these nanoparticles into the human body, you're creating the equivalent of an organic barcode. Okay. We just published, Patrick Wood at Technocracy News. I was the moderator. We just published the second symposium called Omnivore, and this one is called The Battle for the Brain, and it gets into the Internet of Bodies. And if you look at all the patents and research and other work done on the Internet of Bodies, it is clear that there are mysterious ingredients in the food, there are mysterious ingredients in the spray, there are mysterious ingredients in the injections, and the question is, and what's interesting, for many, many years, I've worked with Clifford Carnicom on global spraying. What's in the spray? What does it do to you? And Clifford insists, we just did a huge interview with him at the Celery Report, that the materials, the biosynthetic engineered materials in the spray are exactly what's in the injections. And don't ask for it. And I think it's very intentional. I don't think it's an accident. And I think one of the goals is, as the chief scientist officer at Moderna said, is to install an operating system in your body.
That's pretty dark.
Yes, it's very dark. So go to the Purdue engineering website, to the Internet of Bodies, and look at the whole Internet of Bodies.
I'm sure you're familiar with the story of that guy Charles Lieber, who was, I think, was a Harvard nanobiologist. He either just got hired by China to go work in a university in China. He got busted basically for like taking millions of dollars from China to.
So when you have a guy, Charles Lieber is one of the world's leading experts on brain-machine interface. Okay, and he was working with the guys in China, in a very significant way. And he was I think he was the top expert at Harvard on brain-machine interface.
Right.
And they went after him early, they went after him hard, and they put him in a process where he had to be entirely shut up. Mm-hmm. And then, so they authorized Operation Warp Speed, which, remember, is a military program. And who did they put in charge of it? But they put the former head of research at GSK, who is what? A brain-machine interface expert. The guy who ran Operation Warp Speed that Trump appointed was a brain-machine interface expert.
What was his name?